children, welcome to our physical science digital class. Children, now we are in the lesson graphs of motion. We are going to discuss about graphs of motion, how to draw graphs for motion of the object. So what is this graph? You might have heard about this word in mathematics. So what is motion of object? Yeah, when object changes its position with respect to time, then the object is said to be in motion. You have learned about types of motion in your 7th class. What are those? Just recall those points, children. It is very important for this lesson. So what are those? Translatory motion, or it is also known as rectilinear motion. Rotatory motion, or also known as circular motion. Oscillatory motion, that is vibrational motion, that is also known as periodic motion. In this lesson, we are going to discuss about the translatory motion only, children. Okay? So, and also you learn about some concepts like distance, time, speed. What is speed? The speed, that is average speed, is equal to total distance travelled by total time to cover that distance. So this formula is also you have learned in your 7th class. So what is unit of speed, children? Yes, unit of speed is in SI is meter per second, and in CGS is centimeter per second, and it have another one unit, that is kilometer per hour. 1 kilometer per hour equal to 5/18 meter per second, and 1 meter per second equal to, yes, reciprocal, 18/5 kilometer per hour. Let's try to motion of an object. Have to draw the graph for that. By observing the graph, whatever the graph we plot between the two variables, that is between time and distance, you will get a line. So by observing this line, we can easily understood that which type of motion it is. Okay, children? So before going to discuss about this, just take a look on this. What is graph and what is the use of the graph? Yes, graph, it is a mathematical tool to show a relation between two variables. It makes easy to describe the motion of an object. We can write the mathematical expression also, children, based on the graph. So now in this session we are going to draw the graph between time and distance. So what is graph? It has x-axis and as well as y-axis and also origin. This is the origin. So along x-axis we have to take time, and along y-axis we have to take distance, and take the time values and distance values and try to put the points on the graph and map those points. You will get the graph. So let us see one example, children. So here it is a home of Swati and this is a school. So Swati starts her journey from her home to school. So at the initial time, so she is at home, means she covered 0 distance. After 2 minutes, she covered 200 meter distance. And in next 2 minutes, she covered again 200 meters. Means totally she covered 400 meters in these 4 minutes. Like this, she traveled throughout the distance with the equally covered distance in equal time interval. That means every 2 minutes she traveled 200 meters distance only. So finally she reached the school. So what is the total time and what is the total distance she traveled? Yes, the total time is taken for this is 14 minutes. Add all the time intervals, you will get total time, and the total distance she covered is 1400 meters from her home to school. So now try to draw the graph for the Swati's journey. Okay, children? So before going to draw the graph, we need some data. So what values have to be taken on x-axis and what values have to be taken on y-axis. So that's why we have to make a table of the x values and y values. So yes, observe here. So time values. For first 2 minutes, she covered the distance of 200 meters. In the next 2 minutes means after the end of the second minute and up to fourth minute. So in between these two, that is nothing but this 2 minutes of time interval, she again covered the distance of 200 meters. And after the end of the fourth minute up to sixth minute, she covered again 200 meters. So like this, 6 to 8, that is 200 meters, and again 8th minute to 10th minute 200 meters, and 10th minute to 12th minute again 200 meters, and finally 12th minute to 14th minute 200 meters again. Means every 2 minutes she covered the distance of 200 meters. But how to draw the graph by using these values? It is not possible, children, because of, you can observe here, the distance values are all same. We have to make this table more informative. We have to make this table more informative and more easy to draw the graph. How to draw the table? Yes, observe here. Now I took the time values like this and the distance values like this. 0 means at the initial time she traveled the distance 0 only, means she is at home only. After 2 minutes she covered the distance 200 meters. After 4 minutes, yes, 400 meters, means we have to add that the total distance. And after 6 minutes she covered the 600 meters. Every 2 minutes she covering the 200 meters. After 6 minutes she covered the distance of 600 minutes, and again after 8 minutes 800 meters, after 10 minutes 1000 meters, after 12 minutes 1200 meters, and after 14 minutes she finally the total distance covered 1400 meters. This is the way of making the table, and this table make you to easily to draw the graph. So how to draw the graph for these values, children? Observe this one. So this is our table and this is our graph. So first of all we have to draw the x-axis and y-axis. It is very important. So draw the x-axis and y-axis. So in this graph I am taking time values on x-axis and distance on y-axis. Now put the values on x-axis and as well as the y-axis. Now the time values, that is 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 and 14, 16. And distance values 200, 400, 600, 800, 1000, 1200 and 1400. So here I took the scale. Scale means for every unit how much you are taking the value. That is along x-axis 1 unit equal to 2 minutes. Means for next unit it will be 4. For the next one it will be 6. Means every unit is taken as equal to 2 minutes. And every unit on y-axis taken as 200 meters, children. So this is the scale. You have to must write the scale. It is very important. Now try to draw the graph for these values, children. That is, observe here the table. For time value 0 will get distance 0, means it is here. And for 2 it is 200. For time is equal to 2 minutes, then the distance is 200 meters. So it means, yeah, this is 2 and this is 200. At what point they met? So mark the point it here. So this represents after 2 minutes she covered the distance of 200 meters. And after 4 minutes she covered the distance of 400 meters. At what point these two lines are intersect, just mark on the graph. And for the next value, that is 6 to 600. And for 8 it is 800. And for 10 it is, yes, 1000. And for 12 minutes it is 1200 meters. And at 14 it is 1400 meters. Now map all these points. Yes, you will get a line. So this straight line represents the Swati's journey, and she covered the distance of 1400 meters. So what do you observe from this graph? It is a straight line which is passing through the origin and it is inclined to the x-axis. What do you observe? What you can say from this graph? Children, here the Swati covered the equal distance in equal time interval. Means every 2 minutes she covered the distance of 200 meters. Means this motion is uniform motion. If any objects covers the equal distance in equal time interval, then the motion is said to be uniform motion. Here the Swati has a uniform motion. If an object covers equal distances in equal interval of time, then the motion is said to be uniform motion. The time distance graph of uniform motion is a straight line. And the faster the speed of uniform motion, the greater will be the slope of the graph line. What is this third point? Once again, the faster the speed of uniform motion, the greater will be the slope of the graph line. What is the meaning of this third line, children? So here I said slope of the line. What is mean by this slope of the line? Take a look. So observe here, children. So it is a straight line which we got in the graph. So it makes certain angle with respect to the x-axis. This angle makes us to know about the slope of the line. So the angle of incline, what is mean by angle of incline? The angle made with the x-axis is known as angle of incline, represents slope of a line. If this angle of incline is greater, the greater will be the slope. Observe here. So little bit the angle is increased, then the slope of the straight line is also increased. And again, so how you increase the angle of inclination, then the slope of the straight line is also increased. Observe here. Means if slope of a graph line of a motion is greater, then the speed of motion is greater. The faster the speed of uniform motion, the greater will be the slope of the graph line. So this is very important, children. So means if the slope is high, the speed of the object is also high. It represents high speed. Now by observing the slope of the graph lines, observe here. Here in this table, Harish and Satish, the values of the distance covered by the Harish and Satish in the time interval of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6 minutes. So in the first minute, so Harish covered the distance of 50 meters and Satish covered the distance 100 meters. So like this all the values are given here, and try to draw the graph for the Harish and Satish motion. So first of all I am drawing for the motion of Harish, that is in the first minute he covered the distance 50 meters. In the second minute he covered the distance 100 meters. In third minute he covered the distance 150 meters. In fourth minute he covered the distance 200 meters. And in fifth minute he covered the distance of 250 minutes. In total 6 minutes he covered the distance of 300 meters. Now map all the points. You will get a line, a straight line, which indicates uniform motion of Harish. And likewise draw the graph for the Satish motion also. For after 1 minute he covered the distance of 100 meters here, children. 100 meters. After 2 minutes he covered the distance, yes, 200 meters. Observe here. After 2 minutes he covered the distance 200 meters. After completion of 3 minutes he covered, total distance is 300 meters. Like this, if you draw the graph, you will get a straight line. If you observe these two lines, both are straight line, but the slope is different. The slope of these lines are different. How can we compare the motion of the Harish and Satish journey? So see here, children, the angle of incline of the Harish motion is like this, and the angle of incline of Satish graph of motion is greater than Harish. That is, angle of incline for the Satish is greater than angle of incline for Harish. From this we can say that The slope of graph of line of Satish is greater than slope of graph of line of Harish. Now the speed of Satish is greater than speed of Harish. So means by observing the graph, by observing the slope of these straight lines, slope of these graph lines, we can easily say that whose speed is more. So like this we can compare the speeds of the uniform motion also by observing the slope of the graph line. Okay children? Children, whenever the object is in uniform motion means when it covers the equal distance in equal time interval, then we will get the graph like a straight line which is inclined to the x-axis. But whenever the object is not moves, whenever it is at rest, then how will be the graph? So let us take a small example for this, then you can understand what will be the graph line for the stationary object. So here the data is given like this. For the first 2 minutes the object covers the 200 meters, and after 4 minutes means that is in the next 2 minutes the object covers the again 200 meters. But you can observe here in the third 2 minute, that is from 4th minute to 6th minute, he covered the zero distance. It means what? The object is at rest. The object is at stationary state. In the next 2 minutes also it is covered the distance of 0. It means what? It is at rest only. In the next also it is does not move. After 10th minute it start again traveling and it covers the distance of 200 meters. And again next 2 minutes again the object covers the 200 meters of distance. What do you observe this from this table? So here 0, 0, 0. It means what? Means in between 4th minute to 10th minute the object is at rest. So how can we get the graph for this table, for this data children? So again take the time values on x-axis and distance values on y-axis. Here I am taking the scale as along x-axis 1 unit is equal to 2 minutes and along y-axis 1 unit equal to 200 meters. So for the first 2 minutes the object covers the distance of 200 meters. That is, yes, for first 2 minutes it covered the distance of 200. In the next 2 minutes also it covered the distance of 200. It means what? The object covers the total distance is 400 meters. In between 4th minute and 6th minute he did not move. The object is at rest. Means it is at 400 meters only. And again in the minute of 6th and 8th again it is at rest. Means it is at again 400 meters only. Means after 8 minutes the object covers the 400 meters of distance only. And after 10 minutes again it taken rest for 2 minutes. That's why it is again at the same position, that is at 400 meters only. So after completion of 10 minutes it covers the total distance 400 meters. And the next 2 minutes it again travel the distance of 200. That's why the value will becomes now 600. 400 plus 200, it will become 600. So finally after 12 minutes the object covers the distance of 600 meters. And after 14 minutes again it traveled the 200 meters in last 2 minutes. So that's why it covers the distance totally 800 meters. Now map all the points, you will get the graph like this. So this graph has 3 parts. This graph has 3 parts children. So from 0 to 4 minutes and 4 to 10 minutes and 10 to 14 minutes. So observe here 0 to 4 it covers the equal distance and equal time interval. That's why from 0 to 4 minutes the motion is uniform motion. But here 4 minutes to 10 minutes the object is at rest. means you will get a straight line like this. It is parallel to x-axis. It is very important, children. Even though it is a straight line, but the inclination, the angle of incline is 0. It is parallel to the x-axis. And after 10 minutes, it is again start its journey. The object covers the distance of again 400 meters in next to 4 minutes. Again it is in uniform motion. So you can observe here this one. It is a straight line parallel to the x-axis, which represents object is at rest. So when you get the graph as a straight line inclined to the x-axis, it represents uniform motion. But whenever you got the graph like a straight line parallel to the x-axis, means there is no slope. Slope is 0. The angle of incline is 0. Then you can say that easily the object is at rest. The object is at rest. This is a graph of Abhilash train journey. So you have to observe this graph and make the table. So by observing this graph and try to put the values in this table. For 30 minutes, yes, here the value of y-axis means the distance covered is 15 kilometers. After 60 minutes, it covered the distance, yes, 25 kilometers. And after 90 minutes, yes, it covers the 50 kilometers. After completion of 120 minutes, yes, it covers the distance. So each cell, each unit is equal to 25 kilometers. Here the one unit is divided into 5 small cells. Each cell is equal to 5 units. So here above 52 cells are there. That means 50 plus 5 plus 5. It gives 60. So after 120 minutes, the train covered the distance of 60 minutes. After 150 minutes, it covers the distance of 90 kilometers. And after 180 minutes, it covered the distance of 125 kilometers. And after 210 minutes, it covered the distance of 150 kilometers. So this is the way of writing the values by observing the graph. By observing the x values and y values, we have to put the values in the table. We can easily know how the train is moving. So for first 30 minutes, it covered the 15 kilometers. So after completion of 60 minutes, it is 25 kilometers. Means in the next 30 minutes, the value is 25 minus 15, which is equal to 10 kilometers only. Means what? So here the train do not cover the equal distance in equal time interval. For every half an hour, it changing its speed. Means what? This is known as non-uniform motion. So you can observe the graph. It is not a straight line. It is not a straight line means what? It is not a uniform motion. So what is this? It is a curve. It is a curve. When did you get the curve for a distance time graph? It represents non-uniform motion. So in uniform motion, the speed is constant. In non-uniform motion, the speed is changes. This is very important, children. Whenever the speed is constant, you will get a straight line. Whenever the speed is changing, then you will get a curve. Time distance graph is a curve. Then it represents non-uniform motion. Time distance graph is straight line and inclined, then it represents uniform motion. Time distance graph is straight line and parallel to x-axis, then it represents object is at rest. So observe this picture, children. What do you notice? Here the two swans with the help of a stick taking the tortoise to some other place. Tortoise cannot fly, but with the help of his friends, that is swans, he is taking fly in the sky. But whenever the turtle saw the lake with full of water, it exclaimed. It not control his motions, and what happened? The tortoise just exclaim wow. When it says wow, what happened? The mouth is opened. Whenever the mouth is opened, what happened, children? Yes, it falls down. So now here the turtle's journey. The table is given like this. So these are the values which is taken for the journey of the turtle, that is turtle falling from the beaks of swan. Now try to draw the graph for this, children. That is for first second it covered the distance of 5 meters, that is here. Here on x-axis I took 1 centimeter or 1 unit equal to 1 second, and along y-axis 1 centimeter equal to 25 meter, means each cell is equal to 5. So for the second it covers the distance of 20. In third second it covered the distance 45 meters. After 4 seconds it covered the distance of 80 meters. And after 5 seconds it covered the distance of 125 meters, and finally covered the distance of 180. And map the all these points, whatever you get, you will get a curve. So what is this curve represents? That means the turtle's motion is non-uniform motion. So observe this table, children, it is very important here. So here the graph is given like this, and along x-axis each unit is taken as 30 minutes, along y-axis each unit is taken 25 kilometers again. Okay, so observe this graph and try to analyze this graph. How to analyze? Again I am drawing this graph, that is O to A. So what is this? This is a curve. It's not a straight line, this is a curve. Means what? O to A is non-uniform motion. A to B, again it is a curve. Again it is a curve. It means what? It is again non-uniform motion. B to C, what do you observe? Here a straight line parallel to the x-axis. Means what? B to C, it is at stationary state, means it is at rest. And C to D, yes, it is a straight line, it is a uniform motion. So like this, by observing the graph, either it is a curve or a straight line, or it is a parallel to the x-axis or not, by observing the graph we can easily say that which type of motion it is. Either it is a uniform motion, either it is a non-uniform motion, or it is at rest. So this is a story of tortoise and rabbit. You might have heard this story, children. So what is that story? Yes, the two take a bet on who will win the race. The rabbit takes off swiftly while the tortoise began at slow and steady pace. The rabbit runs far ahead, then halts to rest under a tree for a while. He falls asleep. The tortoise meanwhile continues to forge ahead steadily. When the rabbit awakes, he runs swiftly to the finishing post. Means what is the moral of this story, children? Yes, slow and steady wins the race. So now we are going to draw the graph for the motion of rabbit and tortoise. Observe here. So for tortoise and rabbit, so this is the graph. What do you observe? Yeah, this red line represents graph line of a rabbit and the blue line is for tortoise. So the tortoise graph is straight line, means what? It has a uniform motion. But rabbit, uniform motion up to 60 minutes only. After the 60 minutes he took rest. It is at rest. So that's why the tortoise overtakes the rabbit here. So that's why finally the tortoise wins the race. So whatever the concepts we discussed in this session, let us look on these all points and try to learn these points, children. Average speed equal to total distance travelled by total time to cover the distance. If an object covers equal distances in equal interval of time, then the motion is said to be uniform motion. different types of motion can be represented by time distance graph. Time distance graph of uniform motion is a straight line. Motion in which the speed increases or decreases is called non-uniform motion. Time distance graph of non-uniform motion is not a straight line, rather it is a curve. Slope of the time distance graph line shows the speed of the object at the time. If an object is at rest, then the time distance graph is a line parallel to x-axis. Look at these graphs and try to describe the motion of the objects. Observe here, this is a straight line parallel to the x-axis. It is a straight line inclined to the x-axis. It is also straight line inclined to the y-axis, and it is a curve. Try to analyze these graphs, children, and try to answer for this question. And with some more concept, we will meet in the next session. Thank you.